Hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. My name is Jen. This is going to be your weekly check-in for November 10th through to the 16th. All right, we're going to start with Aries and finish off with Pisces. Everything is going to be timestamped in the description box, so you can just go ahead, click on your sign, and I will meet you there. These are general readings. I do have the monthlies up for all the signs for the month of November, so just check my channel and you will be able to find those there. I also still have a couple one-on-ones left for the month of November, so if you go to this description box, you'll see my email. We can coordinate that for you if you're looking for more one-on-one personal guidance. That brings me to the point that these are general readings. So as much as we try to keep them applying to the entire collective here, some things just might not ring true for you, and some messages will feel like they're hitting you over the head, okay? So just use your better judgment, take what resonates, and if something isn't, then it's not meant for you. If you're feeling like you're really not seeing yourself in your reading, just check your other placements and you will find yourself in there somewhere. Alrighty? That's all I got. I'll see you at your sign. Let's get started. Aries, hello. Let's dive right in and see what the week of November 10th has in store for you. All right. Ace of Pentacles, awesome. So some beautiful opportunity in the physical landscape here. That is awesome. We're going to see what that entails. And just remember, aces are neither positive nor negative, okay? And just because an opportunity is presenting to you doesn't mean that you have to take it, alrighty? The Six of Swords is in the shadow here with the Nine of Swords and that Ten of Pentacles. So something is coming to an end here, or perhaps there's a fear of an ending or fear of success, maybe, that you're on your right path or that path is aligned for you. It's interesting, like you're working so hard for it, but coming into it might be challenging, okay? Let's go ahead and get some clarity for Aries. Let's get some clarity for Aries, please. Let's get some clarity for Aries, please. All right. Okay. So for the Ace of Pentacles, we have the World. That Six of Swords is now jumping onto the board here. Judgment, as well as the Hanged Man, Three of Wands, and the Four of Swords. So it feels like you're thinking about your future here and thinking about where you're headed next and how that aligns with where you see yourself, and the life that's meant for you, Aries. So with that Major Arcana here, it does feel like we're closing some sort of loop, and the universe is presenting you a gift to really open the door up to where you see yourself headed, where you feel you're destined to be, right? And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It feels like the stars are aligning a little bit for you to do that, which is why I'm wondering if that fear of success component or fear of, am I worthy? Do I deserve this? Any kind of those mental challenges are popping up here for you, right? But you're still moving forward regardless here. With that Hanged Man, the Three of Wands, and that Four of Swords energy, yeah, I'm getting this idea that you're feeling maybe a little bit exposed here, right? And that's maybe why that Nine of Swords is coming up, but it's good exposure, right? It feels exposure in a way that you haven't experienced before, especially paired with that Three of Wands. We're open to new knowledge. We're open to new knowing. We're open to, the gifts, that the universe is offering to us, and open to what's next, right? Looking out into the great unknown and kind of saying, okay, let's do this thing, right? Is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from you this week, Aries. With that Four of Swords as well, that's really lovely because it does feel like whatever doubts may be coming up this week or whatever fears may be coming, you're There's a little bit of a calm here, a little bit of an at peace, and it could be that you know your boundary, right? So if you feel that there is a little bit exposure that is perhaps beyond your comfort level, you're doing what you need to do for you to make sure that there is some level of comfortability, comfortability, it's a weird word, that you can at least come home to or retreat to when you feel when you're embarking on this new thing, right? With the Six of Swords showing up, it could be, you know, some sort of travel here that could be popping up for some of you. The Two of Cups is in your clarifier shadow here with that Magician. And then, yeah, just there really is a lot of sword energy popping up. Again, we have the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Swords, Justice here, and the Four of Wands. So really just that Three of Wands popping up for you in terms of signifying that Aries energy here on the board. It does feel like we're having some honest confrontation in terms of what's holding us back, what's limiting us, or perhaps as you progress on your journey into what's next here, you are being asked and tasked with facing some parts or some beliefs of yourself that, you know, maybe in past have been holding you back, Aries, or you're being asked to address these from a different perspective here in order to get you to continue where it is that you want to go. Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts for Aries, please. Final thoughts. There we are. Yeah, so that Two of Cups is popping up again here. It could be this idea of, you know, meeting somebody in the middle here, new partnership, new connection that's going to kind of help you on this path here. Or again, that component of working together, working with somebody, or even just meeting your shadow side and bringing your shadow side to the table here, showing up for yourself in that vein and just kind of saying, okay, I can look at myself from an honest perspective here and understand, you know, a gentle confrontation, especially with that High Priestess showing up in the shadow, right? Wheel of Fortune also showing up behind that. It does feel like we're setting the tone here, Aries, for perhaps the next couple of weeks, some things to whatever it is that you're manifesting, perhaps some of those start to come and slide into place here, but the wheels are turning, things are clicking. And that's kind of what I'm getting here for you. The engine is going, right? And it might be a cold start here, but you're getting there, right? This is the start. Four of Pentacles, Page of Cups. So Four of Pentacles, I'm not surprised to see for you at all, Aries. It's this idea of we want to hold on to things while we're, it's almost this idea of we want things to stay the same, even though we want change, or we don't want to lose anything that we have while we go out and seek change or while things are changing around us. It's an interesting concept here, right? It's like we want change, but we don't. And so I do kind of see this, Aries, for you whenever change is happening, right? It's kind of this initial resistance to it while the change is taking place, which again could be why that Nine of Swords energy and that kind of Eight of Swords, the overthinking here, the doubt coming in, the Seven of Swords, all of that could be why that is coming into play here. Like, what if it goes all wrong? What if it goes sideways here? Page of Cups, right? Just kind of enjoying the ride. It feels simultaneously, again, like that idea that we want to, we're ready for what's next, but we also want to hold on to what we have. But you kind of have to make room for what's next, right? And so you are doing that, but this feels like, you know, just those kind of like, you're taking a risk, right? You're taking a risk and you don't want to lose anything that you have come to value in the process. And I don't see that. Everything is a gamble here. but it does seem like you're making some good forward progress as we head into this week, Aries, okay? That's what I have for you. I really hope this helps you gain some clarity, and you're looking great. I'm here for it. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. You take care. Leo, how's it going? Let's go ahead and see what the week of the 10th has in store for you. Show me Leo, please. Show me Leo. All right, interesting. 10 of Pentacles. So success, some sort of loop. Congratulations. That's awesome. You know, it feels like something here is clicking into place for you. And that's really lovely to see in your physical landscape. Here we do have that sun and that star and the King of Swords with that King of Pentacles energy as well. So really nice energy in your shadow here, right? Everything is being illuminated. You're being guided here in a very nice and good way. Whatever this 10 of Pentacles is, it does feel like it's aligning you closer to, like one step closer to your goal here, to your dream. And again, with the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles showing up deeper in that shadow, it just feels like you're on it, right? Or at least that's what your shadow is showing me, okay? Your shadow energy there. Let's go ahead and get some clarification for Leo, please. Let's get some clarification for Leo. Thank you. All right. Okay. Interesting. Huh. So yeah, it does feel like there's some clarification here. I'm wondering if for some of you, you're realizing where you wanted to be before is not where you want to be now. With Judgment on its side, I'm wondering if you're questioning your direction here, right? Yeah. You're showing up with really good energy here, and with that 10 of Pentacles, right, it's kind of, it could be that component of something has slid into place where it's like, do I want to continue pursuing being a doctor, right? And maybe you're very far into your residency here, but you're kind of like, there's something that you've been doing, or your eyes have opened to something else, and you're kind of considering that, even though it puts you in a little bit of an awkward position here. I'm just wondering, right? Because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, right? Let me back up and let's clarify this here. 10 of Pentacles, we had that clarified by the 3 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, the 6 of Swords, right? That idea of moving out of this period of confusion here. So either way, Leo, if that's not really resonating with you, what I am seeing here is there's a movement out of any sort of confusion or any sort of fantasy land that you were kind of previously in, right? Or perhaps getting caught up in all the details here and not being able to see your day-to-day life. Feels like we're shaking that loose a little bit, coming out of that as you head into this week. With all this major on the board, it does feel like we are setting some things up for major things to happen in the next couple weeks for you, Leo. And it doesn't have to be like major life events, although it could translate or show up as that. It could just feel like things are kind of clicking into place for you as well, okay? Major changes don't have to have major life events that take place, okay? So yeah, Judgment on its side, the Empress, the Hanged Man here. So the feminine energy is here. So I think it's important to mention that even though you have your King energy in the shadow, there is this idea of, you know, maybe mentally and rationally here, right? The business side of you the business mind is saying, okay, well, I have this path and this trajectory forward here, and the emotional component isn't quite there. So this does feel like the heart versus the mind on some level here, especially with Temperance showing up underneath all that, right? There's an emotional component that's kind of, it does feel like it's lacking from whatever it is that we are moving towards. And it feels like Judgment, that is what's kind of stalling you in this, on this kind of forward movement. Okay. So yeah, Empress, Hanged Man here, right? Some new thoughts, some new perspective here. Even if you feel a little bit isolated or alone in that thinking, even if it puts you kind of in a vulnerable position, okay, or getting attention, but the kind of attention that we don't want, right? Which is tough, right? And just kind of being gentle with you as you go through that week and try to kind of figure that out for yourself, right? There very much is this idea of you need to be okay with you at the end of the day. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, right? We do like fitting in society. We do like when people are on our side. We do like showing up and feeling good when we're being recognized as doing good and looking our best. But in those moments where, maybe we have to do a hard thing and we don't feel so good, or we're not getting that validation, or we're getting the attention, what is it? Infamous? A little bit. Infamy, right? Notoriety, right? So there could be some aspects of that for you, Leo, as you head into this week as well. And that's tough, right? But you have to do ultimately at the end of the day what works for you. And that's it, right? In your shadow here, we have the 9 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, and that 4 of Wands. Yeah, so doing it for you, for sure. And reminding yourself of your priorities, reminding yourself of your foundations here. Yeah, it does feel like there's this urge to take a leap in some form or fashion here and kind of abandon what you've come to accomplish in some way, okay? And I feel that relates to the emotional component of things, right? You have this trajectory, you have this plan. There's an emotional aspect that does appear to be lacking in some way, shape, or form, right? And it could even be connection here that is lacking. Whatever you're doing feels isolated, or it could be a fear of that, okay? Isolating you forever, right? But again, this idea of going back to your foundations. What are you doing this for? If it's right, perfect. Does it matter, right? This kind of temporary whatever is happening here. Okay. And just realizing, are you pushing forward? Do you need to change, kind of course correct here? What matters to you at the end of the day, right? Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts here for Leo. Yeah, 3 of Swords, right? And the Knight of Cups. Yeah, there's some emotional component here that's really not jiving, is what I'm seeing, right? So that 3 of Swords, there's some sort of pain. 8 of Wands here, death. Yeah, where you're directing your energy, it feels like there's some change that's coming. Some change that maybe you feel some things are not clicking the way that they used to, or you're not feeling like yourself. There's some sort of component here where that definitely does feel like the universe is kind of setting the tone for you to kind of examine those elements and those themes a little bit deeper. Knight of Cups showing up in the reverse here. Yeah, it just feels like there's something off about where you're headed, where you kind of initially saw yourself. Maybe it's not for you anymore, right? In some sort of aspect here, and you need to figure out a way to bring your emotions back into it, that fulfillment component back into it, right? Or maybe you've been so focused on something that you need to find your joy again. Either way, it's that emotional component and kind of getting back to feeling good where you are and where you're headed. Okay, Leo, that's what I have for you. Just be gentle with yourself, be kind heading into this week, and you got this. Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Sagittarius, hello. Let's jump right in and see what November 10th has in store. 8 of Wands. Yeah, your energy is moving. That was very quick, right? So this week might be going very quick for you, Sagittarius. I have the 2 of Wands here. Page of Swords, Page of Cups in your shadow. Not mad at that. Yeah, it does feel like there's a level of excitement here, which is really lovely. And the 2 of Wands showing up at the top of the shadow here, right? How are you directing your energy? It feels like you're being very intentional about the decisions that you're making heading into this week. And even if those judgments or those actions are a little bit sped up, right? Perhaps time is moving a little bit quicker for you this week, Sagittarius. You're still being intentional about what it is that you're doing, how you're showing up, how you're presenting, and you know, yeah, just being intentional. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers for Sagittarius, please. Let's get some clarifiers. I'm not a fan of that. There's that 2 of Wands. So jumping into clarifiers here for you. Let's get some more clarifiers for Sagittarius. Okay. Yeah, that double energy wanted to pop out so bad. And another novel. Let's be clear and concise here. Let's get some clarifiers for Sagittarius, please. Let's get some clear and concise clarifiers for Sagittarius, please. Thank you. Okay. It felt like a novel of we just needed consolidated feelings here. Okay, Sagittarius, and that's what I was looking for. And that's what we have. Excellent. So we have the Empress, the 9 of Pentacles, both in the reverse with that Hermit, followed by the 2 of Wands, right, which has jumped onto the board here. Ace of Cups, Judgment on its side. Aries also had Judgment on its side, if I do believe. And then we have that Star, 3 of Wands, Magician energy, and the 6 of Wands. So it's interesting because your shadow for, your main card and your clarifiers here looks lovely, right? And that's fantastic. So I feel like maybe the intentions are good, but something's getting lost in translation here. Just specifically with this Empress and the 9 of Pentacles showing up in the reverse. It could be you think you're being fair, but perhaps you're being a little bit too demanding. Perhaps you're being a little bit too indulgent or too firm in standing your ground, like not as understanding as you think you are. So I would just kind of be mindful of that, Sagittarius, as you head into this week. The Hermit energy kind of showing up right side up, that I do like, because it does seem that there is still a possibility of self-reflecting and kind of correcting this energy as you move forward. I still do feel like things might be coming at you quick this week, and perhaps it could be that this energy is showing up in the reverse because you're not ready for it. Could be a little bit of unexpected situations that are arising here, and so that initial energy is resistant to it and questioning why it's coming up and impacting your home. So a little bit kind of reactionary. But again, with that 2 of Wands, it does feel like you settle into being intentional, right? And choosing where you place your energy and place your thought, place your heart, place your emotion, right? heading into this week. So that Hermit energy, I am happy to see that there, because it does feel like, again, you're able to recognize if you're feeling a little bit kind of off, communicate that, learn from that, right? Especially as like learn in real time and continue to move forward. We do have that Two of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and Judgment on its side. With the Star in the shadow, that Three of Wands, and the Magician along with that Six of Wands as well. So Judgment on its side is a little interesting here. It feels like there's some sort of new emotional aspect here that maybe you haven't considered that's showing up, that is making you question some long-term decisions. Okay. Making you think long-term, and whatever plan that you had might need some tweaks, right? Because you didn't account for this kind of new emotional connection in your kind of long-term plan. Okay. So, it feels, overall, the vibe here, Sagittarius, feels good. It does feel like you're showing up very intentional. I should say as well that this is you, Sagittarius. You are 8, 9, and 10 of the Wands. So you're showing up present, but I do get the sense here that there's something new happening. That you're being asked to grow from as a result, with that Judgment on its side, right? And with the Star here as well, it does feel like it's impacting you in terms of what you see for yourself and how you want to live your life, right? Specifically regarding intention. Okay. But you're showing up great, and it does feel like you're in a groove here. This is kind of the old Sagittarius coming out, but very much it does feel like, because maybe there's some unexpected things or situations or something that's popped up here, but you very much quickly realize, okay, we're moving on, or moving from, and moving forward with intention. Okay. Let's see if there's any final thoughts for Sagittarius for this week. Final thoughts for Sagittarius. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm wondering, this energy feels the same. It just kind of feels like there's something that you didn't anticipate when you thought of your 10-year plan, your 5-year plan, right? Somewhere very far down the line, or maybe not very far, depending on your conception of time. But something long-term that you just didn't account for. And so now we kind of have to think on this a little bit, right? And just be a little bit intentional with where we're going and redraw what that future long-term looks like, right? Which is exactly what that Queen of Pentacles is doing. She's still intentional, right? She's still showing up kind, feminine, soft, guiding hand here. But she's drawing that final image, right? So a little bit of a redo or an edit on what that final painting looks like for you, Sagittarius. So very interesting energies here. It does show quite lovely. Who are you snapping at? This week, it does feel like whatever that is, you quickly correct it and continue on as you head into this week. So I am loving that energy for you, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I wish you all the best. You take care. We'll see you next time. All right, Capricorn, let's get into this week and see what it has in store for you. All right, Five of Cups. So some sort of acceptance here. Grief for sure happening as we head into this week, right? This idea of like, so when I say acceptance, it's understanding the situation, taking it for what it is, but not maybe having the best outlook on it, right? Three of Pentacles here. So you are showing up and just, yeah. Okay. All right. So we have that Three of Pentacles, the Six of Swords in your shadow here, the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, to the Magician, to the Seven of Pentacles. So we're letting our mind run away with us for a bit. And I'm wondering if this is kind of the energy that you're fighting, right? With whatever kind of acceptance comes your way this week. Okay, Capricorn, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers as we head into the week of the 10th. Let's get some clarifiers for Capricorn, please. Okay, yeah. Thank you. All right. So that Five of Cups energy is clarified by the Page of Wands, the Five of Wands in reverse, Ten of Pentacles right side up, Two of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and the Star on its side, along with the Lovers. And there you are. Beautiful. Glad to see you here. That Devil energy and that Eight of Swords, Nine of Wands, Wheel of Fortune in the shadow. And how funny is that? That Seven of Pentacles coming out as well. So yeah, it feels like there's a little bit of a mental spiral that is happening here, but you rein that in. Okay, you only let it happen you allow it to happen to an extent, and then you bring it back, you reel it back in. You're like, okay, no. Now let's figure out how we're going to move forward here. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in both shadows here, both on the outset and in your clarifying shadow here, right? You bring it back and you reel it in, and you're kind of like, okay, what are you doing? Coming into your board here with that Page of Wands, the Five of Wands in reverse, similar to Sagittarius. I kind of get this vibe that you are, and just kind of with your shadow energies as well, I'm getting this vibe that you're kind of lashing out here. You know, this week, maybe not presenting or showing up as your best self, because you're not your best self, right? With that Five of Cups energy here, it does feel like whatever is on your brain is kind of dominating, and you're kind of letting it get the better of you. With that Five of Wands in the reverse, right? You're fired up for whatever reason as it relates to this, and it feels like you kind of got to blow off some steam a little bit, and maybe you're blowing it in a bit of a wrong direction here, right? That Ten of Pentacles, it feels like whatever that is, it comes and goes fairly quickly, right? Which is why I say, like, you allow it to a point, and then you rein it in, right? The Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Star on its side. Yeah, you're sorting some new things out. You're trying to find a home for whatever this new wisdom is, right? There's an acceptance component that is happening this week, Capricorn, and it feels like, how do I place this? How do I integrate this into my life, into where I see myself headed? Right. So it's almost like there's a bit of there's a reaction, and then there's, how do I move forward? You allow yourself the response, and maybe get a little carried away in that to someone else's, like if someone else is looking at you, but you know how far you can take this. And then when you feel like, okay, Capricorn, it's time to rein it in. Let's figure this out. That's when you start to move forward and you kind of realize, okay, what's the lesson here? How do I take this knowledge or this perspective or, whatever this new information is, how do I take it and integrate it into where I want to be, right? And so that's kind of what I'm feeling for you this week, Capricorn. The Lovers, the Devil here. It just... there's a personal aspect here to this, right? It doesn't feel work related, although here you might have a shorter wick than you do normally showing up to work, right? Lashing out at others that might not be the source of what you're feeling this week. So that might be a thing. I would look out for that, Capricorn. But it does feel personal, right? As it relates to your personal life. Let's get some final thoughts here for Capricorn. The Fool, Seven of Swords, Six of Cups. Yeah. So again, just this idea of this is personal, but very much, right? It's finding that balance with that Temperance energy. Page of Wands showing up as well. How do you move forward? How do you direct your energy going forward, knowing all of this and having this Queen of Swords new information, right? The Fool, Seven of Swords. I feel like this might have been something similar last week as your clarifiers, because it does feel like that same energy or similar energy of like, I don't want to be here, but I am here. And this kind of desire to jump to be anywhere but where you are. But Seven of Swords, there is this confrontation that is happening, where you're facing whatever this is head on. Right, like I just want to be free of this situation, but you very much realize that this is just kind of like this idea, I want to be anywhere but here, but I know my place is here at this time, right? And so how does the Seven of Swords, how do we kind of figure out ways to disconnect from where we are, right? Instead of being present. So it could even be that is something for you. You're not showing up present this week, right? The urge to kind of run and hide or dissociate this week could be very high for you. Okay, so I would just be mindful of that, Capricorn, as you head into this week. But you do, regardless of kind of any desire that you have, you are showing good restraint in that when enough is enough, when you're pushing the limit too far here, and then you do end up reining it in. So you've got a good head on your shoulders is what I'm trying to say. So you're dealing with this energy, it feels like, as best you can and showing up in the best way you can given the situation here, and it's good. I mean, you still look quite logical, even if the urge to lash out is a little bit more real than it is other weeks. But it's, you're going through a bit of a challenging time here, and you're still showing up. So that's great. Capricorn, I wish you all the best this week and always, and I'll see you next time. You take care. Taurus, hello. Let's jump right in and see what the week of November 10th has in store for you. All right. Oh, there you are. There you are. Alrighty, Hanged Man showing up for you here. Some new thought, maybe trying to force some new perspective, maybe feeling alienated in that perspective as well. Okay. or just this idea that you're on your own as it relates to this, okay? The Magician, the Sun, 9 of Cups. Definitely this idea of manifesting your own happiness or fulfillment here, and being like super honest about it, super transparent. For some of you as well, it could be just being very clear on your emotional needs, okay? Even if it leaves you maybe feeling, putting yourself out there a little bit more than you would normally. Okay, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers for Taurus. Thank you. Yeah. Let's get some clarifiers for Taurus, please. One more for Taurus. Thank you. I like this for you. Okay. I like this for you. All right. So we have the Hangman clarified by the 3 of Wands, 10 of Cups, the Lovers. Love that. Knight of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Swords in reverse. Love that. Ace of Pentacles, the Empress, 5 of Pentacles here. Yeah, persistence is key, and you recognize that. This does feel like a beautiful opportunity of reconnecting to who you are. So you might be feeling more aligned to yourself. You might be feeling more like yourself, right? And this is, or it could be that there's a possibility here for you to open that door to aligning yourself closer to the person that you want to be, okay? With that Ace of Pentacle energy. You are a Pentacle sign, you are an Earth sign, so this is a beautiful opportunity to reinvest in yourself, okay? As well as a financial opportunity, okay? So take it as it resonates, as it relates to you, Taurus, already. With this energy here, it does feel very much like energetically you're open in a good way, and just gaining that clarity or really communicating clearly what works for you emotionally, how you're fulfilled emotionally, right? Especially with that 10 of Cups and that Lovers there. Where do you see yourself? Perhaps you're opening yourself in a different way, aligning yourself in a different way to achieve the family that you want and the life that you want, the partnership, right? There's an openness here that is really lovely to see, a kind of lightheartedness as well. This kind of idea of not having any hesitation or reservation on taking, a soul bond connection here, a partnership, or even elevating yourself to a higher frequency here. Taking the next step is kind of what I'm seeing here, being ready for that. And yeah, it can be a little scary doing those things, but you look very beautiful this week, Taurus, with the fact that you are truly this open to exploring whatever this emotional connection is for you, okay? Coming over here again, just kind of continuing with that energy. We have that Knight of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Swords. That 8 of Swords, it does feel like any hesitation or any fear or any doubt, there is this idea of releasing that this week, which is really quite lovely. You're still focused, right? You're still showing up. You're still doing what you have to do. But it feels like on the back end, or, when you wake up in the morning, there's this kind of personal satisfaction that is the focus, right? Which is really quite lovely. And, there's no doubt, there's no fear, there's really none of that I'm seeing. And you're pushing yourself kind of beyond your limit here, which is lovely. And you're kind of like, I'm doing this, and it's, nothing's gonna stop me. So that's beautiful, right? Even if you are on an island here, you've made it your home, and that's the most important thing, and you feel good there, right? And that's great, truly. Let's get some final thoughts here for Taurus. Oh, short, sweet, and to the point. Let's get some final thoughts for Taurus, please. Let's get some final thoughts for Taurus for the week of the 10th, please. Thank you. Yeah, balance. For sure. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, you look really good this week, Taurus. 6 of Wands. Yeah, you look really good. That 5 of Pentacles showing up in the shadow here and showing up in the shadow on the final thoughts as well. So there might be something where you're coming up where you got to work really hard. Like working a lot for a little, that kind of aspect, or just really putting in work, making sacrifices, something like that, coming down the line, right? So maybe later on this month. But for now, you're showing up, you're looking great. Your heart, it does feel like Temperance is showing up here because you do feel aligned. You do feel some of that balance as you head into this week here. You feel centered, you feel grounded. And that's the energy that I'm getting, right? You feel whole. There's a wholeness about you this week, which really does feel quite lovely. I'm seeing yellows. So just, yeah, that kind of very nice, confident solar plexus energy, grounded, right? Planted firm in where you are, in who you are, which is really quite lovely, Taurus. And it's, it feels like you're going to have a really good week ahead in terms of what I'm seeing here for you. Okay, so I love that. Hopefully we keep the good vibes rolling, and thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Okay, you take care. Virgo, hello. Let's dive right in and see what the week of November 10th has in store for you. Show me Virgo, please. Thank you. 2 cards. I'm here for it. 3 of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles, along with that 2 of Swords and the Ace of Swords, the 3 of Cups. And there you are, the Hermit. So, we're starting out, right, with that 3 of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles here. There is an openness that I'm seeing about what's next, and some sort of kind of new exploration here. 2 of Wands, there might be a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of doubt that creeps in, but you're going for it, is what I'm seeing. There's a new opportunity here, maybe some new insight, new knowledge that's being gained. And you're going for it, which is great. Let's get some clarifiers for you, Virgo. Let's get some clarifiers for Virgo, please. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to come out. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. All right. We're going to do that. Okie dokie. So you have the 3 of Wands and the Page of, I keep saying the Page, the Knight of Pentacles clarified by the High Priestess, 5 of Wands in the reverse, Queen of Pentacles, the Chariot, 5 of Swords, the Moon, and that Knight of Cups. Okay, then we have the Star in your shadow here, along with that King of Wands and the Hermit. So you're showing up here, you're very present. So this leads me to believe that you're very intentional about where it is that you're headed. in terms of wherever this next space is that you're going into, okay? You're being very mindful of that, or at least in tune. You're showing up here, okay? Which is great. I love to see that for you. You're focused. With that High Priestess, the Five of Wands, and that Queen of Pentacles, somewhere that you exist currently, right? It could be work. It could be with a, a social group, a friend group. It could be like a fitness class, something somewhere that you show up is no longer working for you. And you know that. And perhaps you've been feeling that for some time. And it feels like whatever this energy is in terms of we're open to something new, you're finally realizing or allowing that kind of to click into place that this is no longer working for you. Right. And having the kind of gentle understanding of, okay, I'm kind of ready for this, right? Coming over here, we have that Chariot energy with that Five of Swords and the Moon. So this does feel like, okay, we're ready to move forward here. There might be some uncomfy vibe, right? Some conflict for sure. We're not really sure how this is gonna look, right? And that Two of Wands could be that doubt, or could be that kind of anxiety that we feel before we make a move into the unknown, right? But that Five of Swords, right? We have the Five of Wands in reverse and the Five of Swords in the upright. It feels like we've outgrown a space and now we need to we've outgrown a space inside, and we've acknowledged that inside of us, and now we need to express that growth, that outgrowth to that social group. Okay? So you're taking that physical knowing and expressing it. And so there's some conflict there, right? But you're kind of saying, you know what, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I do see that this is what's best for me, and I need to, move accordingly, right? So there is this beautiful openness in terms of what's next, but some initial conflict in terms of vocalizing that, or bringing that to the table as it relates to, that group, whoever it is, right? But again, with that Knight of Pentacles, with that Knight of Cups showing up as well, there's this kind of understanding that I know what's best for me. I know where I'm headed. I know where I need to go. I'm showing up present, showing up in control with that King of Wands as well, right? I know where I see myself. I know what's best for me, and this is what's best for me. I've outgrown this, and now I need to tell this group that I've outgrown them. And it's uncomfortable, and it's sticky, and it's, putting words to feelings and knowing that, we're going to have some impact on some people. We can't control the outcome of what, we can't control others, right? We can't control their outcome as much as we want to, right? But this is kind of what it takes for you to move on and be honest with yourself and be accountable to who you are, right? And so I feel like that very much is the vibe of what you're doing this week, right? You have your light, you have your path, you have your knowing, and you're being very intentional about, something that is no longer serving you. Let's get some final thoughts here for Virgo as we head into the week of the 10th. The Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords. So some sevens. Yeah, some conflict is on your horizon, right? But it very much is this idea of integrating what you know and believe to be core to who you are and kind of standing up for that. And by standing up for that, you're standing up for yourself. So there is some sort of confrontation externally because you've outgrown where you are, in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So yeah, with that Seven of Cups, you know, there's a little bit of, it feels like the barrier is being broken down here. You know, perhaps you were under some illusions where you were, and you kind of realized that in theory is one thing, but in execution where you were wasn't something else, or it ended up being not what you thought it would be, right? And kind of just facing that and understanding and holding yourself, you know, emotionally accountable, right? We can only take what we can take. And understanding that whatever this is does not serve you anymore, right? So a little bit of conflict, a little hairy here, but you're navigating it, right? And you're showing up and you're present for the conversation. And even though it is a little sticky, you're ready to move beyond, which is really lovely, Virgo. So that's what I have for you heading into this week. I really hope this helps you gain some clarity. I wish you all the best, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Libra, hello. Let's get right into it and see what the week of November 10th to the 16th has in store. Knight of Cups, Nine of Wands, and the Ace of Wands here with the Three of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Yeah, so interesting here. It just feels like fighting to feel it. Fighting to feel it. Knight of Cups here. So forwards, progress here, forward momentum. For some of you, like, definitely eye on the prize here. We're just kind of waiting to feel it. Interesting. Let's get some clarification here for Libra, please. Let's get some clarification for Libra. Let's get some clarification for Libra, please. Let's get some clarification for Libra. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So for that Knight of Cups, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Swords, hopping onto your clarifiers here, Death, Nine of Wands, right? Hopping into your clarifiers here, Five of Wands, King of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Page of Cups in the shadow here. So yeah, it doesn't feel the best, Libra. I will say that. It just feels like perhaps you're being too harsh on yourself. Perhaps you're being too harsh on the things around you here. And there's maybe a knowing that needs to change. Okay. Deep in your clarifier shadow here, I did see you and the Tower, right? So something is changing here, and I'm wondering if it's starting with you first. Okay, Libra. Heading over here, we have that Nine of Wands, the Five of Wands, and the King of Pentacles in reverse again. You know, with that Pentacle energy showing up in the reverse here, something is not working in your physical realm. Okay, in your physical environment, how you're showing up. Perhaps you're not having success at your work as of late, right? Like you're showing up and you're doing the things, but perhaps you're making mistake after mistake and you're not sure why, or you're showing up a little clumsy, right? And so there's something that's off, right? So you're kind of waiting for things to click, waiting for that spark of energy to come through again here for some of you. Okay, Libra, take it as it resonates here, but it feels like you're lost. And I'm wondering if you're feeling like you're wanting someone to save the day. Come rescue me. Come rescue me. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. That's kind of what I'm feeling here for you. You want to rely on somebody else, but I'm not sure if they're, first of all, is somebody there or someone like, I don't know if there's someone there that you can rely on, or if that tendency is there, but you're like, no, I need to rely on myself. Kind of idea here, but something isn't quite working for you, Libra, this week, and I feel it, you feel it. There's some change that is showing up, but to be honest, I'm really not clear on if you want that change to happen or not. I'm not seeing if you're resistant or welcoming to it. So it could be some way for some of you and some way for others of you. Either way, it just feels like you're tired and exhausted, and the way that you're showing up isn't the way that you want to be showing up, or the effort that you're putting into how you're showing up in society is not giving you the payout that you wanted it to. Okay? Like the output isn't matching your effort. Okay, take that as it resonates here. You're not looking your best self, and it feels like you're just maybe biding your time until something comes and sparks that passion again, so you can kind of get out of this rut. But it does feel much like you're in a bit of a rut this week, Libra, and kind of wanting to escape it a little bit, but either you're not allowing it or that's not happening for you. Okay. Three of Pentacles and the Hermit here with that Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. So this is actually really lovely energy. I'm wondering if when you are alone, you see, like, if this is like your ideal here of how you want things to go with that Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and that Four of Wands. Just that joy that's happening here, right? That Ten of Swords with the Ten of Pentacles here. Yeah, it feels like this is where you want to be, but where you are isn't that. Okay, Three of Pentacles here. Yeah, this desire to start something new. Maybe start fresh, maybe change your persona, Libra, change how you show up in society, right? Because whatever this is isn't working. So it's kind of like, do I need to change some aspect of my identity here, right? So I don't have to deal with what's happening this week. That is kind of what I'm seeing. For those of you that doesn't resonate, that persona change, right? Like, say you're a Richard and you've always been a Richard and you're not feeling like things have been going your way recently. So maybe you're going to show up as a Rick instead. And Rick is like, you know, a cool guy, cool cat kind of vibe, right? That kind of idea. If that's not resonating with you, maybe it's time to try something new. Right? Because whatever it is, it feels like there's very much this energy of like beating my head against a wall, just not really sure what's going on here, can't really figure it out. So try something new. Get yourself out of this environment, get yourself out of this, like remove yourself from the situation in order to gain clarity on this situation. Okay? Yeah. That's what I have for you, Libra. I feel like that's not very much clarification, but that is what the cards are showing me here. So just be gentle with yourself, right? And be honest with yourself as well, I think, as you head into this week. And just make sure that whatever you're doing, there is a solid intent behind it. And as well, that Tower energy is coming, so I would just be mindful of that as well, right? Some sort of switch up is happening, and it could be that even energetically you sense that heading into this week, and so you're kind of like, I don't really know what's going on here, but I know something's not right. So just be mindful of that as well as you head into this week, okay, Libra? That's what I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Aquarius, hello. Let's dive right in and see what the week of November 10th has in store. Okay, so Chariot here. So some of that Cancer energy, right? Moving forward, consistency is key. That does feel like that is the name of the game for you heading into this week, Aquarius. 3 of Swords, Knight of Cups, Ace of Pentacles here, and that 9 of Swords. So there is a little bit of pain that's showing up here, perhaps a lesson learned. But you're moving forward regardless, right, with that Cancer energy. Slow and steady wins the race. Definitely not moving, like not fast action or fast moving is what I see this week. But moving forward, that Ace of Pentacles does feel nice. 9 of Swords showing up as well. Yeah, it just feels like you're not really, it's not the best week you've ever had, okay? Let's go ahead and get some clarifiers for Aquarius. Let's get some clarifiers for Aquarius as we head into this week, please. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so your clarifiers look good. Sorry, yeah. All right. So we're jumping into your shadow clarifier here with that Page of Wands, 6 of Wands, 8 of Cups, Temperance, Knight of Swords, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords here. Yeah, you're definitely not showing up as like the best that I've ever seen you here. But it still does feel like you're being accountable in some sort of way, and you're moving on in some sort of way. It's like an uphill battle for you this week. That's how I'm going to put it. It's an uphill battle for you this week, Aquarius, okay? Your Chariot is clarified by the 6 of Pentacles, that Chariot in the reverse, okay? High Priestess, Devil, 4 of Wands, and the Sun energy here. So yes, uphill battle. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. It feels like, are we listening to the mind, or are we focusing on facts and discipline, or are we focusing on something tugging at our mind and not really having an understanding of why we're being pulled in this direction, but knowing that we're being pulled in this direction for reasons we can't explain, right? With that High Priestess energy here too. So it very much feels like, what are we giving our attention to? And there is some sort of aspect of a struggle that's showing up here. It feels like tug of war this week for you, Aquarius, with that Devil energy, right? So we have Cancer showing up, kind of the good and the bad side, right? The pros and the cons of that Cancer energy. And then we have the Devil showing up as well. So Cancer sign opposite Capricorn. right? With that Four of Wands and the Sun on its side. So it feels like there's some clarity starting to come regarding whatever this situation is. But it definitely feels like you have your work cut out for you this week. I'd be mindful of some tendencies to be too stubborn or to dig your heels into the sand too much here, that you lose sight of lose sight of why you're digging your heels in the first place, right? This could be as it relates to home life here, or that the home is the priority this week. But I don't want that you to be too stubborn that you lose sight of what it is that is driving you or motivating you. Okay. Yeah, it just feels like an uphill battle here, right? When do I trust the tangible progress, and when do I trust myself? Right? Like trusting the data versus trusting that inner knowing. It feels like that's kind of a theme for you as you head into this week. But being too stubborn in either direction isn't good either. So it does feel like there's some sort of balance in that way. And there also could be this theme, Aquarius, heading into this week where it's like, well, if I lean too much into the unknown and too much into that kind of spiritual aspect or the unknowing, that mystery aspect here, I don't want to lose the progress that I'm making. I don't want to lose the momentum that I've gained. Yeah, it just feels like we're battling some major or confronting some major themes as it relates to how we're showing up in society and how our energy is showing up, like how our intuition is showing up, or if we're even listening to our intuition. Some sort of play on that for you this week, Aquarius. And it does seem very like it's it's an uphill battle for you as it relates to this week. Okay. In your shadow here, I do see that once you get the hang of anything, Aquarius, you are quite successful. You maneuver, you beat your own drum here. You move to the beat of your own drum, I think is the saying. And so once you kind of have a firm handle on that, you will move forward and be successful and do what you need to do. Just feels like there's no clarity on this yet. And so we're kind of stuck in how working this out and figuring out the details, right? While acknowledging that kind of, we don't want to be too rigid, right? I feel like that's important to mention. It's uncomfortable. But I think it's uncomfortable because you don't have a firm grasp on it yet, right? Interesting. Let's get some final thoughts for Aquarius here. The Tower, Queen of Wands in the reverse, and the World. So something's shaking up here. I'm not surprised to see that Tower energy just because this feels so like conflicting. It just feels so like it just feels so conflicting here. Like we're almost this idea of like, I want to be unmoving. Queen of Wands. Be mindful of lashing out this week. Be mindful of others lashing out against you this week. And just remain, who you are, and just kind of maintain that level of understanding that, people are human at the end of the day. And even if it does cause you a little bit of heartache or whatever, you will carry on. You will continue to move on. Right? I would just be mindful of that, especially with that Queen of Wands in the reverse. I'm not saying it's right, anyone lashing out at anyone, but I'm saying we're all human and we all have certain limits and buttons being pushed. And it certainly looks like some of that is happening to you this week, Aquarius. So I'm just saying be mindful of that. With the World showing up in the shadow there, it does feel that, and as well with the amount of major arcana that is on the board for you this week, it does feel like something is coming to an end. Perhaps you are putting more trust into the unknown here, right? And it's kind of really, how do I see that? How do I, it feels almost like you're using like scientific analysis to lean into things that you can't see, like using a tangible process to see what you can't see this week. Okay. But however this is showing up for you, Aquarius, it does feel very weighted. And it could be like a perspective change or an idea change. It is core to your foundations here. I originally said, as it relates to your home, but it could be just your core beliefs as well, your core pillars. Okay, and gaining some clarity on that. So with the World here, some aspect is coming to an end. It does feel like some aspect of your identity here, like an identity shift or a priority shift, okay? Which is why that Tower is coming, and, that kind of lashing out or not showing up in the way that we want to is happening here, okay, Aquarius? So a little bit of a challenging week, I will not lie to you, but you're moving forward, and you will continue to move forward, right? You continue to show up day after day, week after week, and have that understanding and figure out the best way forward for you. And you will, it's just, that's who you are. Okay. That's what I have for you. I really hope this helps you gain some clarity, and I wish you all the best. We'll see you next time. You take care. Gemini, hello. Let's get right into it and see what this week has in store for you. Alrighty. 2 of Cups with the 9 of Pentacles in the shadow, and that 10 of Cups along with Justice. A little bit of Libra energy here. So that's really lovely energy for you, Gemini. Perhaps a new connection, new partnership here that's entering your orbit this week, which is really quite lovely. 9 of Pentacles here. It feels like you're standing in this place where you know your worth, your value, what you bring to the table. You look good, and perhaps that's why you're attracting a potential new suitor here, which is really quite lovely. And you're showing up it seems very clear on your, what you want for yourself, right? In terms of that emotional component here and what would fulfill you going forward here. Justice, right? A little bit of karmic justice, maybe. Perhaps things are working out for you and it finally feels like, okay, this is my time. I feel good, right? Or perhaps this is based on you looking this way and feeling this way is based on some work and some decisions that you have made previously of you wanting to be more intentional as showing up in this way. Okay, either way, you're looking great, Gemini. Okay, let's go ahead and get some clarifiers as we head into this week. Show me, Gemini, as we head into this week, please. Show me, Gemini, as we head into this week. Thank you. All right, so lots coming up here. Okay, so we have here the Two of Cups clarified by Four of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands in the reverse, High Priestess, Four of Wands in the reverse, and Ten of Wands on its side, along with the Sun in the clarifiers, Seven of Wands, Page of Cups, and that Nine of Pentacles. It feels like this week, Gemini, you're releasing any hesitation or anything that was kind of holding you back from showing up how you want to navigate in society. Okay, with that Queen of Wands here, she's very clear on her intention, and she goes after what she wants, and she usually gets it, right? The Queen of Wands. She kind of maneuvers through society in a beautifully attractive way. Okay, so you know, this is a really nice progression here of what I'm seeing with that Four of Pentacles to the Six of Swords to the Queen of Wands. You're releasing and perhaps even removing a weight off yourself in order to kind of free up your mind and free up your energy to go after what you want, okay? And you're showing up really taking that Nine of Pentacles energy here and being successful in that, right? And maneuvering in a way that kind of feels a little bit freeing for you, Gemini. Moving over here, we have that Ace of Wands in the reverse, which is a little bit interesting here. I'm wondering if there's some sort of in freeing up some things that were holding you back. It feels like we're kind of making way for new things to enter that place, and we're not quite sure what those new things are. But the High Priestess showing up kind of reassures me that you're listening to yourself, and as long as you continue to listen and discern and you know, let your intuition be your guide, you're showing up while you might not know what's coming with that Ace of Wands in the reverse. You might be a little nervous to embrace a new energy here, a new connection. It seems like you're very mindful in terms of you want to make sure that you're not overburdening yourself and you're not taking on too much, and that whatever it is that you're allowing into your foundation, into your core, is something that is going to be good for you, important for you, right? Yeah, like you're kind of being very mindful of what comes into your space here and being very clear on what no longer should reside in your space. Okay. So yes, this could be kind of freeing you up for a connection here. It could also be this idea of just meeting the world in a different way, kind of presenting a different face to how you're showing up here, right? A little bit lighter, I would say, and a little bit more secure, more like a little bit less baggage here in what I'm seeing. There's some items that you're no longer carrying forward as you move into this week, Gemini. Okay, so that really is quite lovely, beautiful energy as we head in to this week for you. Let's get some final thoughts here for Gemini, please. Thank you. Six of Swords. So again, this idea here of moving on, right? Releasing, like, very much It's interesting, right? She's firmly planted on that boat. It's not rocky. She knows where she's going. Very intentional, okay? And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. We're releasing. It feels like you're letting go of something and moving on with good intention, right? Page of Pentacles, the sun showing up again. Yeah, just being very intentional here on of what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're pursuing, and where you're going, which is really some beautiful energy here, right? The focus, it feels, is transition, and you are transitioning beautifully here, Gemini. Alrighty, that's what I have for you heading into this week. I wish you all the best today and always. You take care, and we'll see you next time. Cancer, hello. Let's get right into it and see what this week has in store for you. Six of Wands and the Page of Swords. So that's nice, right? Some sort of success here, which is really lovely. And just being elevated by the people around you that love you, like really celebrating you, which is really lovely. And celebrating excuse me, whatever this success is, which is really, really nice here. Page of Swords, Page of Cups, and the Hermit. It's interesting. There was another sign that basically got these same clarifiers in the shadow. Either way here, there's a new experience that you're excited about. And that you're kind of growing from, which is lovely as well. It's given you some new insight, which is good. You're showing up looking great, which I'm so here for it. Let's get some clarifiers here for Cancer. Let's get some clarifiers for Cancer, please, as we head into this week. Thank you. All right, so yeah, just really nice here. And another page, right? Yeah, and just again, it does feel like you're freeing up some of your headspace here to move on and let go of some things. I feel like you were focused on this last week as well, Cancer, but just kind of, yeah, just showing up. And while there initially might be some conflict or some hesitation here, ultimately there is this desire, at least, to let go and move on, which is really quite lovely for you. Let's go ahead and clarify that Six of Wands energy. We have that clarified by the Ace of Swords, the Magician, Five of Pentacles, Justice, Seven of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands on its side. So definitely, and I just realized there's no cups on this board, which is interesting. All right. Yeah, so Ace of Swords, right? So there's some new insight here, some new information that you've received that you're acting on, and that it feels like is what is taking you to that successful point. Where there is a little bit of recognition for you, right? A little pat on the back, Cancer, never hurt anyone. And you're showing up just really present for it. Despite cups not being here, right? The Five of Pentacles and the Magician here, it feels like there's some new insight on your path, on your journey forward here. And so it could even be like maybe you're not struggling as much as you thought you were, or maybe there's some new knowledge or insight that sorry, I had to sneeze, and I'm glad I was able to do that off camera. Anyway, so maybe there's some new insight here that you can use to better your current situation, and that's why you're feeling good about it, right? You worked something out, you worked a problem out here with that Magician energy, and that feels good. Moving over here, we have Justice, Seven of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands on its side. It's interesting because I definitely see you here showing up with some sort of new, like some I feel like lesson learned isn't the vibe, but there's something that you've gained some clarity on here, and it feels good. And with that Two of Wands energy on its side, it's kind of like, okay, how do I want to move forward here? Right? And kind of keeping the vibes how they are. Because, you know, you are excited about whatever's happened here. It feels like you do want to kind of let go of some other things, right? That maybe you've been holding on to, but it's like, okay, how do I keep going? And you're not quite sure yet, right? But you're figuring it out. We're figuring out, you know, specifically with that Justice card there, that Libra energy, is there anything that I'm leaning on that might not help me move forward in the best way, right? As I continue on. So it does feel very much like you're kind of taking stock based on this win that's happened here. So that's really lovely, right? That's really lovely. And it just, honestly, with all of these pages showing up here, it's like, yeah, okay, it might be a little rocky. Life isn't perfect. We know that. You know, with that Five of Swords coming up, maybe a little conflict here. But ultimately, like, you want to feel good. You want to look good. You want to move forward, being the best that you can. And there is some excitement here as you head into this week, and people are seeing it, and that's great. That's great, Cancer. Let's go ahead and perfect. Ace of Swords. Yeah, so just doubling down on some sort of new thought, insight, knowledge, perspective this week. Page of Cups, feeling good about it. Nine of Cups, the Sun. Yeah, so just really, like, you look amazing. And the potential is there for this, whatever this Ace of Swords is, it really does feel like it can grow, and you can continue to move forward in the way that you want to, feeling lighter, feeling more content with who you are, where you are, and just enjoying, right? With that Sun energy there, just enjoying and living life for you the way you want to live it, kind of without whatever it is that has been weighing you down. So that's really, really lovely energy for you, Cancer. I'm so happy for you. You're shining, and it's beautiful. So if nobody else is going to pat you on the back this week, I will. Job well done. You're looking great. And thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time. You take care. Scorpio, hello. Let's go ahead and see what this week has in store for you. Show me, Scorpio, please, for the week of November 10th. There we are. All right, you're here. Happy birthday. Do me a favor, let me know in the comments when you're celebrating your birthday, and if it's this week, I hope it's amazing. Let's see here. So Five of Cups, so you're definitely showing up here. This is not the best. I mean, you're here, but it's not, you know, the best way to show up this week, but you're here. Nine of Pentacles in the shadow. Even if you're giving me that 5 energy, I'm happy to see the Nine of Pentacles here, Two of Pentacles, Two of Wands, and the Moon, with the Ace of Pentacles and the Fool energy behind that. So it feels like you're ready to, or you're trying to figure out a way to make a jump, make a move here, or at least free yourself up for an opportunity to come your way, which is really quite nice. Almost like you're ready. That Nine of Pentacles energy, at least in the shadow of what I'm seeing here, it's almost like you got to make room for something else to come through. So she might be taking a dip in her satisfactory level, but ultimately it's worth it. So it's kind of like where that discipline and oh my goodness, where that discipline comes into play here. Okay, Five of Cups, sorry, showing up, you're here. I'm wondering if you're focusing maybe on the wrong thing, or maybe you're just kind of a little bit like life has been a lot lately. And so we're just kind of like, okay, we just need a minute to be in our feels, catch our breath, and move on. Let's get some clarifiers here for Scorpio as we head into this week, please. Let's get some clarifiers for Scorpio. Let's get some clarifiers for Scorpio as we head into this week, please. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so that Five of Cups is clarified by the Eight of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, King of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. Yeah, so there's some new opportunities coming, which is awesome, right? With that Ace of Wands and that Ace of Swords. So some new, you're getting like new energy, right? New passion here, which is great. It feels like you want to hold on to whatever this ace is. You want to just add it in, like kind of have it fold in nicely to what you already have and what you're already carrying. You know, I don't know how well that is going to work, but you're trying to, it feels like you're trying to keep what you have while taking on more, right? And so I'm wondering, like, overburdened is coming up, taking on more than you can handle, or feeling just like, it just feels like a lot heading into this week, Scorpio, okay? I want to be honest with you. With that Eight of Wands here, it feels like whatever's happening is happening quickly here, but you want to be successful. And kind of this is a quick maneuvering way, or your way to kind of make that happen as we head into this week. With that King of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and that Ace of Swords. Yeah, again, it feels like we want to take on more than what we have. And I'm wondering if this Five is coming up because it's funny because the Five of Cups is like focusing on what we're losing, but what you're showing me here is that you don't want to lose anything. And so I'm wondering if that's why the Five of Cups is showing up as a reminder that you have to let go of certain things in order to fully capture and integrate the new things that are presented to you. So I'm just wondering if that kind of theme is coming through for you this week, Scorpio. With the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, Justice in the shadow, along with that Knight of Pentacles, Death, and that Knight of Wands here. You're very much, it's interesting, you are taking stock of what's working for you and what's not. So your shadow energy actually looks quite lovely in terms of you're being very intentional of what is coming into your cup. You have a clear picture of where you're headed and where you're going. Some doubt tries to come in, right? And it's, it could be fear of success. It could be fear of are you doing the right thing? It could be fear of what people think of you, etc. Okay, take it as it resonates and as it applies to you. Sorry. Either way, it does feel like you're trying to make room for more. But I do very much get this vibe that you don't want to lose anything as you take on these new opportunities here. Okay. In this shadow here, it's a juggling act for sure. And you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this. And then we have that Ace of Pentacles showing up as well. So I'm wondering if you taking all this load on this week, Scorpio, is, if it's going to work out for you with that Ace of Pentacle, and then that full energy kind of finally just letting go. You're not there yet. you want to kind of hold on to everything that you have and still amass more. I would just be mindful of your social battery, your physical battery, and how much you're giving this week, or energy that you're expending this week, because it feels like a lot. And again, it could be necessary. It feels like the way that you're presenting this, it kind of is necessary. But it's also kind of tiring, and maybe you're focusing on the tiring aspect of it, or that's something that's more prominent in your mind. But at the back of your mind, you're kind of like, no, I'm doing this because I need to get to where I'm going. I want to be successful and do more and do this. So that kind of aspect. You're trying to do it all, Scorpio. You're trying to do it all this week, okay? Let's get some clarity. Thank you. Page of Cups in the reverse, 5 of Swords. Interesting. 9 of Swords. The Tower, Knight of Wands. Yeah, so this very much feels like, in the clarifiers here, this energy of that Knight of Wands, the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Swords. So that could be a person, that could be you, and that doubt kind of rearing its head. And again, rearing its head because of so much that you're taking on. So when we take on so much and we have many balls in the air that we're juggling, things are going to fall through the cracks. And so I'm just wondering if that's kind of what's happening here, or if somebody is showing up and while you have all these balls in the air, they're adding one more to your plate, in terms of conflict, or really just trying to kind of knock you off your game. So either way, I would be mindful of that person, that energy, and really just be mindful of your boundaries as you head into this week, Scorpio. Just kind of with that Page of Cups, it just feels like there's some energy that's trying to mess with you and mess with your vibe. And it feels like this week is very important in terms of what you have going on. So here comes this page that's kind of like, hey, I'm just going to add something else to the list. So just be mindful of that, especially with that 5 of Swords and that 9 of Swords energy and that shadow there. It feels like some sort of conflict is heading towards you, and ultimately a tower. So just be mindful. You got a lot going on. Just remember to take a breath and center yourself, ground yourself, right? And with that 7 of Pentacles, it does feel like you're doing that. You're showing up, it feels like, to the best of your ability. Just don't let anyone rock that boat or knock you off balance, right? Because it is very delicate, everything you're juggling this week. Okay? Thank you so much, Scorpio. I really appreciate you stopping by and gaining some clarity on the week ahead. I wish you all the best, and you take care. We'll see you next time. Pisces, hello. Let's get right into it and see what this week has in store for you. Show me Pisces, please. Thank you. Okay, 7 of Swords here with the 6 of Cups. Being honest about what fulfills you, right? Being honest about how you feel is immediately coming up here. I'm wondering if you're kind of getting lost in the feelings of what you don't, getting lost in what you're not feeling, or feeling like what you don't have, not feeling good enough, not feeling like, if you have a partner, not feeling like the partner is validating you or giving you what you need emotionally, or giving as much as you give, right? Feeling stuck, but just really this idea of not being honest, or even focusing on, I don't want to say the wrong things, but focusing on, all the, like, being a little pessimistic this week. Okay. And, with that world energy, I'm wondering if we're trying to close that loop in some way. Let's get some clarifiers for Pisces for this week, please. Yeah. Yeah, we want to close this loop. Let's get some. Oh, that's funny. I love tarot. All right, let's get some more clarifiers for Pisces, please. Yeah, we're over it. We're over this feeling. Let's move on. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So just in, oh, where is that showing up here? Is it like this? Just showing up here, right, with that Hermit energy in your clarifying shadow, right? We have the Hermit energy, the Lovers, Eight of Pentacles, Hierophant, and that Nine of Pentacles. So just making sure you're showing up and using the lessons you've learned as a resource to get you where you want to be and get you showing up in society how you want to show up. This very much feels like I want my outsides to, or my insides to match my outsides, and I want my life to look like I want to be intentional about how my life looks and how I'm presenting to this world, right? What I'm accumulating, what I'm doing in this world, right? It matters. And so just really kind of getting maybe a little bit specific in terms of the routine or how you're showing up, maybe being a little bit more intentional in how you're showing up for society, what you look like, right? Maybe your wardrobe needs a little bit of updating, right? Showing up for the job you want, not the job you have. That kind of idea is kind of what I'm getting from that shadow clarifier. Okay, coming into your board here for that Seven of Swords, we have the World, Six of Swords, Knight of Wands. We have the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, which is beautiful. Five of Cups on its side, and the Ten of Cups showing up as well. Yeah, so it does feel like, you know, we are confronting some things or not, you know, how I said on the outset, like perhaps being a little bit too pessimistic, focusing on what we don't have. Whatever that kind of energy is, it feels like that loop wants very much to close here. And let's close the chapter on what we feel we lack and move on to focusing on how we can attain abundance and how we can attain success and the life that we want, right? And first we have to show up for that life we want. Dress for the job we want, not the job we have. Okay. And so, yeah, like focusing on your feeling, focusing on what fulfills you, right? And just moving forward with intention in that regard. So very much with that World energy, we are closing a loop here. You're moving forward and expending your, like, and maybe here there's clarity that you can direct your energy. You can direct your energy, right? And direct what you're giving your attention to. Direct what you allow to kind of ruffle your feathers or use as a motivator for where you're headed, right? Coming onto this side of the board here with that Five of Pentacles upside down, the Five of Cups on its side, and that Ten of Cups there. So 2 5s make a 10, right? And this is actually really lovely because it does feel like there is some sort of cycle completion happening here, and you are kind of Wheel of Fortune energy here, right? With the 5s turning, and then it turns into cycle completion here. So we have two kind of, we're feeling that gap kind of on a day-to-day basis, or that loop close, and we're feeling it kind of energetically, right? Like pivotal moment as well this week for you Pisces. Okay. So kind of releasing this idea of what's holding you back. It does feel like there is some confrontation here, or you're in terms of confronting what wasn't working, bringing some attention to maybe some aspect of a relationship that was holding you back, or having you feel less than, or something like that, right? If you do have a partner here, but really putting that behind you and saying, we're moving forward, or I'm moving forward, right? Because I know what I want. I know how I see my happiness. I know who I want to share my happiness with. And so I'm releasing anything that's holding me back from doing that, right? With that 5 of Cups showing up on the side, it's it just feels like we are moving from this kind of focusing on the negative and kind of releasing that so that we can fully focus on where we see ourselves going, right? Working hard to show up for the life we want, not the life we have. So just kind of having that clarity and having that general level of awareness seems to be very present as well. And even if you are kind of hesitant or resistant to it, you're acknowledging at least that you are feeling that way. And from what I'm seeing here, you seem to be continuing on, right? I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I'm not liking where I'm at, but I'm going to push through this because I know where I want to be and I know where my happiness is, right? I know what I see for myself. So lovely. A little bit of like maybe some harsh truths, some harsh realities that you're facing this week, but for the greater good. Okay. Let's get some final thoughts for Pisces here for this week. King of Cups. A 6 of Pentacles. Yeah. So very much showing up, right, in the best way possible, the best way that you can be, holding yourself emotionally accountable, right? Being honest with yourself, being honest with a partner if, that does resonate with you, right? Taking accountability, but also being vulnerable and kind of open enough to understand, if there is a lover soul bond connection here, where that other person is coming from. And, if there's anything that you've done to them as well, right? And taking accountability for that. So really just showing up the best version of yourself that you can be, Pisces. And 6 of Pentacles, really focusing on what is next and building that in the physical form, listening to who you are, having that clarity of purpose, and having that clarity to understand that there will be conflict, kind of always, and just kind of navigating that and showing up again as the person you want to be, right? Because it is in these little moments and in these big moments that we can very much choose what direction we want to go, right? Beautiful. So that's what I have for you, Pisces, heading into this week. I really appreciate you showing up and gaining some clarity in this week ahead. And I wish you all the best. We'll see you next time. You take care.